Okay, so we're live. Welcome everyone to the Thursday night live stream. Um, we've managed to pull together a last minute special guest for this evening. We've got Lindsey Murphy in the house. We've been trying to get together and get some time matching up since Keto Palooza last year, pretty much. And
Yeah.
it's everyone's life always gets in the way,
It
we all
sure
know how it
does.
is. So yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm happy to have you here for a little bit tonight.
absolutely.
Welcome to everyone that's coming in. If you're new, welcome to the channel. If not, I know there's usually a few people here that are every week.
That's
I'm
awesome.
happy to introduce Lindsey here. We met. Well, I had started seeing some of your content before Keto Palooza last year.
Oh, cool.
I think I started seeing you through Neely.
Oh, yeah.
I'd had heard on the podcast last year at one point. So I kept seeing you pop up with her on live streams and videos. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was
We're
it was
quite the team
awesome.
here.
Yeah, it was awesome to meet you at Keto Palooza there last October. We were two of the people walking around with big cameras all weekend, and
Yep. Mics, cameras, all the things, action packed, walking around, trying not to be too disturbing.
Yeah. People are used to it now, I think. So that's
I agree.
Yeah. So
I'm still not comfortable taking a camera in public. I mean, like, I can do a phone in public. I cannot do a camera in public. It just kind of is one of those things where I'm like, I'm already kind of a very expressive person and a little bit loud. So then to have one more appendage of a big giant camera attached to an arm would be really obvious.
Sure. Yeah. No,
And I'm not interested in making people uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way in public. I struggle to do anything in public. I'm trying to get better at it.
Yeah.
I've got a GoPro now that
Yeah.
be able to use more in public kind of thing, but
very cool.
Just to sort of cut down on I've got not the same kind of camera as you do, but it's big and bulky and
similar size.
Yeah. But it's funny though, like Tuber Chat here, this channel, Kevin, I actually met up with him in person last week because he's close to where I am, and he was in the city where I live last week.
Very cool.
We met up at a restaurant just to have a chat and talk about YouTube and everything, and then he was with someone he works with who's got a pretty big YouTube channel, and he ran a live stream from the restaurant on his phone. It's one of those things where I would never even think of doing something like that. And he was just
gives you the heart palpitation.
Yeah. So, but
the closest I've ever had is live streaming in my car, in the safety of the car, way far away from others in a parking lot, waiting on my kid at dance.
Right.
So that's as close as I've ever gotten. Oh my stars.
Yeah, it's I haven't done any live streaming in public before, that's for sure. So
yeah.
Okay.
Definitely an awkward thing.
Yeah, we've got Joe. Reichwin 96 is here. It's good to see
you. Hi,
Reichwin. One of my longer term or time supporters of the channel, so it's good to see
That's Joe awesome
here. So why don't we I know we don't have a ton of time tonight, so why don't we get into, I always like to ask my guests sort of what got you into this lifestyle in the beginning, and sort of so that people can get to know you a little bit.
Absolutely. So I've shared my story a number of different times, and it's actually a little bit complicated, and I found that it's kind of hard to keep track of all of the things. Ultimately, simple first. I was never a super obese kid, but I was a chubby kid. I was mildly athletic, but I really loved, more of the singing and more dramatic type things, which is not coming through on camera at all. I'm sure I'm very expressive. But as I got older, I was never, like I said, I was never like super, super obese. However, I was putting on weight year over year. Um, and at a certain point, I had some serious inflammation in my body I found that through my TMJ, your mandible jaws or mandible bones. And I had severe inflammation. I'd always struggled with my jaw and I didn't really know what the issue was. I had a specialist tell me that I needed to go on a liquid diet so I was not actively using my jaw so much. And so I did that and I was able to drop a lot of weight. And by dropping that weight, my jaw felt much better after a year, and that was not a keto lifestyle at all. And then once my jaw felt better, I went back to eating regular standard foods, just like processed through the roof kind of foods. And my jaw pain started coming back, my ear pain started coming back, and my clothes stopped fitting me. And at the time we had switched jobs, there was not there's never plenty of money to be able to say I can just overhaul my wardrobe if I gain weight. That's never a realistic type of a thing. And so I said, if I don't drop weight, I'm not going to fit in my clothes anymore. So I need to do something. In January of 2016, I found Trim Healthy Mama, which is a carb cycling way of eating, basically, where they will always have everything with protein, but sometimes you're eating carbs with protein, sometimes you're eating fat with protein. And so I was doing that, and I noticed that I would always feel like trash if I ate the carb meals. So I just naturally gravitated towards the higher fat meals with protein. And after about 2 to 3 weeks of doing that, I looked into what that meant, and I was basically following a keto lifestyle. And I dropped a lot of weight really quickly. I dropped like 14 pounds in 2 weeks, obviously a lot of water weight, but there was also some of that wasn't water weight. I was able to function better. My clothes fit better. I felt better. I was a much more interactive parent and spouse, and I just felt alive again. So I've now been on this way of eating for 8 years. It hasn't been smooth sailing, I will say that, but it has been the only consistent thing that I've been able to do for my health, where I started at point A and just kept going for forever, kind of a thing. I didn't feel like I ever had officially like made it and I could go back to having a high carb lifestyle again. So for me, that's kind of it. Tons of inflammation, tons of pain with that. And by dropping the carbs, my lifestyle improved so much.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I've it's seems to be something that's recurring. Anytime I talk to anyone when they start this lifestyle, like we all have sort of different reasons, I think, for starting. Like I was in so much pain trying to chase around a 2-year-old grandson that I couldn't do it anymore. Right.
Right.
I wasn't even necessarily focused so much on losing weight at first, but obviously I think we all, even if that's not our main goal, we all have that in the back of our heads, like
Definitely.
it's something that can motivate us to make a change. But something you said there, I noticed as well, it's amazing how quickly your quality of life changes when
Yes.
you start healing yourself, with the proper diet. And it's like you say, it doesn't take long at all,
It
like
really doesn't.
if you can stick with it for, like I try to keep telling people, give it 6 months and there's no way you'll ever want to go back, basically.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I think that it was a major mind shift for me going from I can just go to the store and I can buy the same old things that I've always purchased and always been comfortable with putting out for my family for food and everything. Um,
Mhm.
but now I have to like there's a very, very high barrier to entry. Like I have to retrain myself to say, I'm not going to buy these packaged foods. I instead need to do things from scratch. Or I
Mhm.
instead need to do things that are within these rules rather than just like a free for all. And it took me a little bit of time, and it basically consumed my brain for a period of about a month, maybe
Mhm.
6 weeks, and then it kinda clicked. I had enough practice doing it, and it was not smooth sailing, like I said, but it was so much easier after I had that time to be able to devote to learning it and then just carrying on almost as if it was second nature.
Mhm. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's, and that's sort of how it worked for me too. Because, and I think everybody that changes their lifestyle like this, like you say, it's never going to be, you know, that smooth line that we all think it's going to be. It's always going to be a bumpy road, and
That's right.
it's just a matter of, when it does go in the wrong direction, are you able to correct course and figure out what's going wrong and go
Oh,
right back
yeah.
to the right direction. And I think, if you can get through that first couple of hiccups in your lifestyle, I think it gets a lot easier after that.
Definitely. And I also think that the more that you work those muscles of following this particular lifestyle, the faster you are able to recover from moments of weakness or moments whenever you make a decision to say, okay, it's Thanksgiving. I am going to have a little bit of the sausage dressing or a little bit of pumpkin pie or something that somebody else
Mhm.
made that might not be friendly to me. It's a snappier, ooh, excuse me, a
Mhm.
snappier comeback when you exercise those muscles regularly.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's like for me, I learned really quickly, and I knew this before I even started keto and changed my lifestyle. I can't allow myself to stray.
Mhm.
A little bit here and there is not a big deal, but if I can't purposely stray, because
Yes.
unfortunately that's just not my mentality. Uh, I
Mhm.
can't I can't afford to, or to, because
Yeah.
I can't get it back again. But
Mhm.
it just to hear, for other people to hear that it is that's just the nature of people and the way they go through life. Like you know, I've talked to lots of people that seem to mentally get refreshed from, by like putting aside, I guess, the stressors of, living keto or ketovore or whatever, just for
Mhm.
a short time, and not thinking about it. Again,
Yeah,
it's not something I can do, but I'm not against whatever works for anyone, I guess.
for sure. I
So,
will say that I tend to be in that same camp where it's an all or nothing type of a situation. The only times I've been capable of doing not keto for a short period of time and then coming right back has been when we've traveled out of country,
mm,
or out of state, or I'm out of like my environment. If I'm in a totally different place, I'm able to I'm able to yield a little bit to whatever the food culture is in that area. And then I'm able, like, I come home and I'm like, this is my home base. We don't do those things here. So in my brain, it's kind of an absolute, this is not where we do those things. And so, but like if I go to my friend's house, just a few streets over, I'm not deviating because that's still kind of like my home turf area. But for
mhm,
me, it's if my brain is taking into consideration like, okay, I'm in a different place, like altogether, I'm probably never going to be here again. I can have a little bit of like black pudding in Scotland and not have
mhm,
a horrible response to it and come home and say, well, now I just have to eat all the bread because there's an awful lot
mhm,
of carbs in those things. So I'm with you on the whole, like, don't deviate often don't deviate in a major kind of way. And I cannot let my girls make snacks or treats and have just like a bite to taste it and see how it is. Otherwise, I become a sugar monster, and that's actually
Mhm.
what we have coined it. When I get a little bit of sugar, I become a sugar monster, and I just cannot have enough of it. I have to have all of it, and I have to have it all right now. And then once it's fully gone, I can move on with my life. So I don't even try in my own home to have like little deviations at all.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think, and I think that's a great way of looking at, you know, things like going off plan. But I've always been sort of in the mindset, again, I can't do it, but if you're going to do it, it's probably better if it's a purposeful thing.
Mhm.
It's not a, okay, well, we went to dinner with family or whatever, and just all of a sudden you just dove right into the pie and the cake and whatever. And,
The
that
chips and
like
salsa
that.
come out.
Yeah. So, you know, like you're saying, if you're going away and you're going to, out of country, or you're going somewhere special, like, again, I can't really do it. And I don't like to do it because I know how I would feel if cause I weigh, okay, well, I'm spending this time and this money to go on a trip. Would I rather indulge or feel good the whole time I'm there?
Yeah.
So I have to
Mhm.
weigh that every time, kind of thing. But again, like
Yeah.
lots of people I've talked to, if they're going to Disney or whatever, they don't want to go to Disney and, not indulge in some of the things that you could only get from somewhere like that, right? So,
Yeah, I think it all boils down to being choosy. You know, we have to
mhm,
choose to not eat the standard processed foods anymore.
mhm, mhm,
And if we choose to, it's all about choices and being strong with yourself and understanding. Like you said, you have to weigh it out. Is this worth the pain that I'm going to feel in my joints from having this particular item? Or
mhm.
is it better off for me to just let other people enjoy it and I get to still maneuver without tons of inflammation?
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then, yeah, I completely agree. But it's a hard choice to make sometimes. Like it's a difficult mindset but
mhm.
like you say, after like I've been keto for 5 years now, and it's an easy mindset to stay in now. Like I don't even think about
Yeah.
this stuff anymore, but,
Mhm. Yeah,
uh,
for
but that's,
sure.
that,
For sure.
that's why I like to talk to people and get everybody's sort of story, because
Mhm.
there's going to be someone here that isn't in the place that you've been keto for even longer than I have, you know,
Yeah.
and to know that, okay, well, it kind of sucks right now because I'm only, I only
Yeah.
started January. It only started January 1st, but this time next year, you're basically on autopilot, and you can just, just keep doing it for the rest of your life if that's what makes you feel the best. So.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, well, let's say hi to a few people that have come in here.
Definitely.
We got Dominic E, another regular on the live stream. Together we travel.
Hello.
There's a few people in here. Like I was saying, this Tuber Chat Connect and Grow, it's a community channel where I meet a lot of other creators, and
Oh,
we
very
support
cool.
each other, basic. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of people from that community in here. Like we've got Scratch
Mm.
Pete, P&J's Homestead are in here. Dominic's in here. Dominic is a chaffle lover as well. And then,
You definitely have the market coined on the chaffle variety
yeah,
videos
I'm
there.
trying. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then P&J's Homestead here. I gave a couple of Dash Minis away
Very cool.
uh, a while back there for my monetization live stream, and they're one of the winners. So they got a Dash Mini, so they're right into the chaffles now too. So,
Oh, for
and
sure.
then Tiffany here, Canadian Family Life, she wound up ultimately with one, another viewer won it and then gifted it to Tiffany. So she's
How cool.
now as well. So yeah, we're changing the world one chaffle at a time, kind of thing. That's the way
Heck
I
yeah.
like to look at it. So
Heck yeah. I have always loved waffles, and I've had like multiple iterations of waffles that I've done, whether, it's the standard American diet or doing it keto now. And it's
mhm,
so much fun to play with. I feel like a waffle, like who doesn't enjoy a waffle? Or
mhm.
now a chaffle.
Yeah, B&J's, they're saying they're chaffle making fools over there now. So they like the spicy chaffles
Fantastic.
too. So
Oh yeah.
and then Dominic's saying eating a chaffle pizza right now. Well, there you go. So
You might need to come up with some kind of a little tagline that's just like Chaffle King or something to that effect.
yeah, I've had that.
Chaffle Chancellor.
Yeah, I've had that thrown around by other people. I kind of like I know I'm not the first one to do them.
No,
Obviously,
no, but
like there's been other channels out there that have done it. The only difference is now it's not really as common, I guess, as it was.
yeah.
Like for a while there, everybody was making chaffles, right? So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
again,
And everybody had the stuffler and
yeah,
everybody was making the stuffed waffles. I
mhm,
never I never
yeah,
jumped into that one.
yeah. I had
I already
never
have
tried that either, but
I have a lack
I have.
of appliance space in the kitchen.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where it's like I don't think I can. I just can't with this one. I'm happy with my little plain old waffles stacked
Yeah,
up with stuff. I'm okay.
for
I will
sure.
survive.
Yeah, when I came home with the 2 Dash Minis that I was giving away, my wife is like,
Yeah.
You didn't buy more, did you?" I'm like, "No, no, no," because I've already got 3. I've already got 3 of them that
Yeah.
we use, and I'm like, "No, no, I know we don't have room for more of these." So, but yeah,
Right.
it's, that's what I like about the Dash Minis, though, is they don't really take up any substantial room. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They are definitely easy to sort of tuck into little crevices.
Yeah, yeah, and you can even buy them with, like, cases that you can put them in too. I've seen that on
Oh,
Amazon.
that's a fun
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So, I don't know if I'd wanna put it in a case,
Take your
but
dash and
yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's your
so
dash lunchbox.
yep, yep, so but yeah, like, it's one of those things where I like to come up with fun ideas for people.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of recipe videos as well that have, you know, uh like I've seen so many things come through your channel. Like you've got such amazing uh, recipe videos for sort of anyone, and
Oh, I
it's sort of
appreciate that.
like, and it's geared towards like family eating, right?
Yeah, for the most part, I've got 3 kids and they are not keto, but they do eat pretty much I try to create things for food that we can all sit down and have dinner together. Then I can either tack in some potatoes for the girls or something that is carby that I would not choose to eat. And have them be able to have the same thing. That way there's not just sort of this disconnect, like, mom eats a totally different way than the rest of us, so mom's making 2
Mhm,
separate meals, and mom eats weird food because of whatever reason, it's just it's trying to integrate everything together, and my
mhm,
husband, he eats low carb, he's much more of a moderator than I am, so he can be a little more loosey goosey with things, and it's just one of those things where it's like we all come together, we eat the main dish together, we might have slightly different sides, but overall, we're trying to keep it as unified, I think is the word I'm looking for, as possible so that when the girls grow up, they have a foundation of family dinners are together and it doesn't have to be perfectly like identical, but we can all still enjoy the same kind of things. And we can try different things that may not be, the typical thing they would want to have, but it's it's an adventure for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I can imagine that it's a balancing act. Like it's, we don't have any kids here. They're all grown up and, have kids of
Hmm.
their own now. So it's just the two of us. And even that is kind of a balancing act and, trying to keep everyone, or, everyone wants to be happy. And
Yeah, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
so we had Dominic here, sent a super chat in. Thank you for that, Dominic.
Wow. Thanks,
Truffle
Dominic,
King.
for
Yeah.
supporting this chat.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's
That is
Dominic has
super awesome.
done that kind of thing before. I definitely appreciate
He
it.
is the
But,
Chaffle King.
yeah. And then we had Karen here from England, all the way from England. So that's cool.
Very cool.
And then we have Penny
Chaffle
and the
Chief.
Sheffield Chief. Yeah, that sounds
I
good
kind of
too.
dig it.
So
I kind of dig
yeah,
it.
it's one of those things where I don't know. YouTube is slowly, or even I don't know, even quickly changing from a hobby strictly for me to something that I'm trying to be
Hmm.
a bit more deliberate with, I guess.
I feel that
Trying to,
very much so too.
yeah, like trying to do weekly live streams every week, make sure it's consistent. Then I try to do a
Yeah.
truffle recipe every week as well. I'm trying to put in vlog type videos wherever I can, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I look up to channels like yours and Neely's and um, Ketogenic Woman, and like
Oh
seeing
yeah.
where this kind of thing can go, right? So
Oh, for
there's
sure. I
lots of
mean, I don't feel like I'm going very far very fast, but I agree. Neely and Anita, Ketogenic Woman, like they're amazing creators of
Mhm.
food, and they're just doing it in a realistic kind of a way that is relatable. There's some people out there who are extremely successful, and it's hard to feel like it's authentic just because it feels
Mhm.
so hyper produced. And
Right.
they just seem to be less just I guess relatable. I don't really love overusing that word, but you know, uh, they're
Yeah.
similar to us. They're just regular folks with regular lives that want to do well by their health and
Mhm.
live better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely relate to that. Like I say, things, just like anyone who starts a YouTube channel, things progress over time, and you get a little
Yeah.
bit better at doing certain things. And I'm trying new things nowadays. Like I'm trying different editing programs and
Yeah.
trying to get into doing better shorts videos, and like
Ugh,
trying to
shorts.
expand things. Yes, they're they're
I
they're they're a whole different animal in their own. So
They are. I have yet to fully embrace them, and I'm like, I know I need to. I know that's the direction of the whole platform, but
mhm,
also it's hard enough to just like on the weekly basis get anything out. I mean, there's weeks when I'm able to get out the live stream with Neely and that's
mhm,
it.
yeah,
So trying to put out the shorts on top of it is a whole, like you said, it's a whole nother animal, and I can't figure
mhm.
out how to capture it.
Right. Yeah. And then what I've found is like, because I have probably over 300 shorts videos on the channel, because all it is like I grab my phone and
Yeah.
I just use the YouTube app, and I take 15 seconds of video, put a title on it, and post it.
Yeah.
And so far it's done well by my channel. But what I'm finding is that it seems like that's not probably going to work anymore. It needs to be more like video, take video with something like a GoPro, and then sit down at the computer and actually edit it into a
Fiddle with
short,
it. Mhm.
put subtitles or like captions on it, and
Mhm.
actually uh, put some time into it. Like I loved shorts because like I say, it would take me 15 seconds, and
Yeah.
then you'd wind up with, 3, 4, 5,000 views on a shorts video, get a few subscribers. But I think unfortunately well, it's the way YouTube always is, right? Like as more people get using something like this, now that it's monetized as well, I think it has to be more deliberate instead of just throwing stuff out there. So
yeah. And I tend to be a person that thinks in terms of, I've got this idea. I mean, we watch Wendy on Loving It on Keto, and all of a sudden she's got like an idea in her head and she just takes off with it. And I feel like she could be my spirit animal in that, because the way that I do my videos is there's not a ton of pre-planning with them. It's more of a, I have this really fun idea in my head. I don't do the research to see if it's actually like something people would like to see or that people need to see. It's just in my head. I have to get it out, and then I put it out there and I walk away. And that's not effective in the world of YouTube. And even just this week, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, how do I do better research? And then I, homeschool the kids. So that takes up a good chunk of time, as it should. Cooking for the family takes up a chunk of time. I have to sleep, otherwise my health goes to garbage, or, like, it's just trying to find those little pockets of time to fit in the learning so that I can also try to give the audience what they're looking for.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. Like I've got a full-time job that I work as well. And, like ultimately the last thing I feel like doing when I get home is sitting down at the computer and spending time doing this. But I know that if I want to ever shift out of, 9 to 5 and even have a little bit more time to do this, then, it's a sacrifice I'm going to have to make for a while. So
definitely agree. And I love the hobby part of it, but I also have a desire to make it something more valuable to the people. And yet I can't do more than what my life permits. And it's one of those things where vlogging daily foods for me can be so simple, but that's not exactly something that the entire keto community has any interest in. Not that I'm going for a whole keto community, that, like all of the viewers on the internets. But it's one of those things where, is the juice worth the squeeze? And I'm starting to have those questions, like where is it worth it to put the effort? It's a fun thing to figure out. It's a challenge, and I appreciate challenges, but it can also be a little bit of a headache filled challenge trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said the same exact thing. It's funny. I've talked about it on my live streams a number of times now, thinking I'm going to do what I eat in a day video. I'm going to do it. Everybody does these videos, but I'm like, but what I eat in a day is so boring. Like there's nothing interesting about it whatsoever. I'm like, do people really going to want to see this? I don't know. So, that's just weird. So,
well, I mean, the majority of my diet is eggs, so I have to pick and choose the days that I'm able to film what I eat in days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we just had Dominic say, picked up Smithfield Farm hot and spicy pork rinds. Think they will chaffle. I would definitely give it a go. Yeah. Blend them up in a food processor so that they're like just a pork crumb or whatever. And add it into some eggs and some cheese and give it a go. It'll probably be more dense than a regular chaffle for sure. But I would, if I could find some hot and spicy pork rinds here that weren't full of garbage ingredients, I'd be all over making chaffles out of them for sure.
Oh yeah. You got to have that kick sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the last ones I made a short the other day that was my first produced short kind of thing.
Ooh.
And
I'm going to have to pull that up as soon as we're done here.
Yeah. So it was habanero cheese with extra hot Frank's Red Hot sauce and pickled jalapenos.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. And then there was cream cheese in it as well. But it was I was sweating for a little while after those ones. So. Yeah. So,
man, I love the spicy flavors.
Yeah, I've got some fresh habaneros sitting in my fridge waiting to be cooked into something. So we'll see how that goes. So
Very fun. Very
cool.
fun.
Okay, well, I don't know if you had said
I'm
you
Yep.
sort of
I'm
had
I'm
half an hour.
definitely on,
So
yeah,
yeah,
we
okay.
are,
So
definitely timing out here.
yeah, okay. Well,
Children are
like
probably
that's
killing each other in the basement.
I hear you. Well, thanks a lot, Lindsay, for coming on here and letting people
Absolutely.
get to know you a bit. Like I say, I are you? Do you think you're going to be going to Keto Palooza this year? Or?
I don't know. I mean, those
Mm,
presale tickets sold out in a nanosecond, it
I
felt
didn't.
like, and
Yeah, I didn't get any. I didn't get one either. So
yeah,
yeah.
it's my heart's desire to go, but this year, I never know. I just never know, which
Mhm.
is
Sure.
so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know with Keto Con, or I guess technically it's Hack Your Health happening here
Mhm.
in tech, or it's down in Texas at the was it the end of May? I don't even think I'm going to be able to do that this year, even though like
Mm,
they were like, here, come in, come in, come in.
sure.
I do get to go to a meetup in Utah with Keto Chow at the middle of May, so I'm pretty excited about that. Neely and I get to
Mhm.
go meet up again down there or over there, I guess.
Over there.
Directions can be tricky,
Yeah.
but but I think that is the only specific event on my calendar that I've committed to. But I have got much hope that I'm going to be able to go since Louisville, I mean, it's not a terrible drive for me from where I
Mhm.
am. So it's one of those things where
Right.
it's like I can go, and my kid loves horses, so for her to get to
Mm,
go down and, travel through Louisville and see all of the different horse farms and things like that is just her life's highlight. So
sure.
maybe I
Yeah.
hope I hope we can. I really hope we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, I think that's why I've sort of focused on Keto Paloozas because it is something we can
Mm,
drive to. It's still a full day of
yeah,
driving, but it's something that's
sure.
doable. So it's
Right.
winds up
Yeah.
cheaper that way. So
Well, and my experience at Keto Con in Austin was good. My experience at
mhm.
Keto Palooza was so much more like relationship building, and I
Mhm.
really appreciated that piece of it. And I know Joe and Rachel from Two Crazy Ketos talk about it all the time. Like that is the event. And I have to agree that it's just one of those things where you get to just have like community in person, in the flesh. And that's not
Mhm.
something that you just get anywhere. So
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
definitely worth it, and if I can make it work in our schedule, I will definitely be doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, yeah, that's all we can do. But yeah, I completely agree. It's a completely like family friendly go meet, just hang out with people that have the same sort of mindset you do. And, you know,
Definitely.
it's stuff always, it was last year was my first time. So I really enjoyed
Same,
it. So
same.
it's,
Yeah,
I've got a ticket and room booked and, we're going to make another weekend out of it. So
I think that's awesome. Well, Jason, I
cool.
really appreciate you having me on,
Yeah.
and I hope that I can do this again with you sometime if
Yeah.
you'll have me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and set something up again. Like I say, we'll keep in touch and something will work out down the road for sure.
Right. Hopefully, it won't take us
Okay.
like 5 months again.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Yeah.
later.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye now. Okay. So that was Lindsay Murphy. I've dropped her link a couple of times in the chat. We'll put it in there one more time. Lindsay's got a great channel of her own, a great community, lots of awesome recipe videos on there. Um, so yeah, this sort of came together last minute. We've been messaging back and forth for a few months now, trying to pin down a time, and she was able to carve out half an hour for us tonight. So it's definitely appreciative of her coming on and sharing her story. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed listening to her story. That's sort of what I want to try and bring to this channel is bring as many different stories as I can, with different people's journeys and how they got to where they are and how they started, because I think it's important to bring that information to YouTube. So hopefully no one was feeling ignored there. I always like to try and split the time between the guest and the chat, but I saw Ruby came in here. It's good to see you. And then Rick from Twin Brook Acres came in as well. So it's good to see you, Rick. And Karen was here. I think I saw something. Karen said she made lentil wraps. Is literally just lentils blended with water and dry fry. Yeah, that would definitely work. Yeah, and the hot and spicy pork rinds, I'm pretty sure those would, if you like spicy stuff, I'm sure they would give chaffles really good flavor for sure. So everyone was saying hi to each other. It's all right. Anytime you guys can spend with me, I definitely appreciate it. I wasn't like, I was talking with Lindsey last night by email, so I wasn't sure what was going to happen tonight, if it was just going to be me or if she was going to be able to come on. But an hour before the live stream tonight, she said she could make it, so that turned out awesome. She's got a great personality, and I think if you haven't checked out her channel, definitely go over and give her a look. And like I say, she's got some amazing recipe videos over there. After 1:15 a.m. here. Well, thanks for coming, Karen. Definitely appreciate you coming by for any time that you could. Always appreciated for sure. Yeah, if you can hit that like button on your way in or your way out, that would be appreciated. Helps get the live stream out to more people. And like I say, anytime I have a special guest on, I like that information to get out to as many people as possible, so that we can, even if it helps one person stay keto or start keto or just change their lifestyle in any way, it's worth it. So sorry about that. And then yeah, Dominic, thanks for the super chat again. That was amazing. Completely unnecessarily, but definitely appreciated. Kevin from Tuber Chat was here, so I couldn't hang out too much in your live stream this morning. It was I was sort of popping in and out while I was working, but hey, that was fine. Hopefully it was a good live stream. And yeah, me and Kevin met up last week for a good chat. It was nice to talk to Kevin about YouTube and sort of get some more ideas of where things are going with the channel. Again, there was a couple of nights ago that I made the determination that I wanted, and I think I had said this last week, is that I wanted to start maybe spending a little bit more time on my shorts videos. Not that I'm going to use up time that I would spend on full length videos making shorts. It's just, you probably won't see as many of the unproduced, just 15-second shorts anymore, because they don't, and I don't know if anyone else that has a channel has noticed this, but the shorts the views, at least in my experience, have changed. This last one that I did, where I spent some time and I actually edited the footage that I had, and then put captioning on it, and did a voiceover on it. Did fairly well. It was a weird climb on the views of that shorts video. I'm so used to posting a shorts video and then not getting any views, but then you wake up in the morning and it's had 1,000 views. So it's sort of, you can, it seems that's the way that shorts have always worked for me. But what I'd found with this one is that I uploaded it about 9 o'clock Tuesday night. And then it basically just got steady views for about 24 hours, and wound up with about 1,400 views. There was no big quick spike in an hour. It was just the same amount of views for about 24 hours. I don't know if it's going to get picked up again and get more views, but I was happy with the way it performed overall, I guess. So definitely look for more of those in the future. I'm going to try and do some more shorts that aren't necessarily just straight chaffles. I've got some other ideas, but we'll see what happens. So the what you can eat was amazing. So is that the shorts video with all the pictures in it? That was one of my first shorts videos that I made. And I think I've got 150 different pictures as part of that video. Pulled them all from Instagram, from what I used to post on Instagram. But yeah, that was a fun video to make. I've thought about making an updated version of that as well. But we'll see what happens. Like I say, I'm trying to do other things to bring better content for everyone here that's supporting the channel. And I realize that it's going to take time to learn how to do things properly. I've downloaded the new video editing software that I'm going to give a try, see if it works better. It's got a few features in it that the one I have now doesn't have. So Rick's heading out. Good. Thanks for coming by, Rick. I definitely appreciate you spending some time with us. Another long-term supporter of the channel. Rick has been a guest on the channel as an episode of the podcast. So if you haven't seen his story, definitely go check it out on the podcast playlist. Got our Georgia suburban homestead in the house. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. We had a guest on for the first half of the live stream. Lindsey Murphy was with us. She's got a YouTube channel that's more or less focused on keto living and keto recipes. So it was great to talk to her and get to know her a little bit better. Like I say, I met her in person last October at Ketopalooza. We were both walking around with our cameras, videoing everything and trying to catch as much content as we could. And you always knew where she was because she has one of the white M50 Canon cameras. So it really stands out. You don't see too many of those around. I got going on, but I have a premiere at 5:30 and then live at 9. Yeah, I hear you. I don't like sitting too much anymore. It's I don't know. Might be half the reason I don't really go too much over an hour on these live streams. Even when I'm, when I'm not, even when most of the time when I'm at home, I'm standing at a counter on my laptop. I try not to sit too much. I guess I don't have the most comfortable chair either. So that's probably half the problem. But yeah, I'll definitely try and swing by your live stream as well. Like I say, I'm gonna try and focus on making some more quality content in the coming weeks. Again, hopefully no one's getting sick of the chaffle recipes. Obviously there's lots of people here that seem to enjoy them. I enjoy making them for you. They're not, strictly from a sort of YouTuber standpoint, they're not performing as well as I'd like them to. again, maybe that's got something to do with analytics and not using the right tags or the right titles or what have you. But they seem to be every one that I release is a little less viewed than the one before. But again, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop posting them. It's just I just need to spend a bit more time producing them and getting better at tags and titles and stuff like that. So, like I say, hopefully no one's getting sick of them. I might make chaffles tomorrow. You always inspire me. It was chicken wings and coleslaw for dinner tonight. That sounds really good. I could eat chicken wings almost any night. That's definitely one of my favorite meals by far. My camera died on me during a shoot today. So frustrating. Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, it's knock on wood, I haven't had too many issues with my camera. It's always a bit of a pain setting up the live stream. If I've done like a talking head video with my Canon camera, I have to change a bunch of settings it uses different settings, whether I'm doing live stream or actually recording to the camera. So half the time I forget how to make those changes. So, and of course I usually forget about it until 5 minutes before the live stream, and I have to rush around trying to figure out how to get it back to running my live stream. So, all the joys of YouTube. Need a good chicken wing recipe. There's definitely lots of good chicken wing recipes out there. I've been sort of partial to, all I really do is just put them in a bowl and mix them up with just some avocado oil. And then I put them on a baking sheet, and then just all I really put on them is salt usually. And then I bake them at like 400 degrees until they're nice and crispy, and during the summer, a lot of times I'll still put them on a baking sheet, but I'll put them on the barbecue. Again, they're pretty boring that way. I'd like, ultimately, eventually I'd like to do what Lisa's saying here, like do things like dry rubs, favorite savory herbs and salt, let it sit 20 minutes, then bake 350 for like 45 minutes. Yeah. So there's so many good ways to make wings. I'm just sort of, I really prefer like extra crispy wings. And then usually what I'll do is I'll just make my own buffalo hot sauce. So just some Frank's Red Hot in a pan with some butter, melt it all together, and then that's what I use for my wings. The one thing I have been trying lately, because Frank's has, and I don't know if other people have seen this, and if you like Frank's, they have a dill pickle version, but we can't get that here in Canada. I tried to find it when we were in the States last October, but I never found it anywhere. So what I've been doing, and a couple of times now, is I've made my buffalo hot sauce, so just the Frank's with the butter, melted in a pan, and then I've actually got, because I have a jar of hot banana peppers, so they're pickled banana pepper rings kind of thing, and I'll just pour a little, like a couple of tablespoons of the brine from those hot banana peppers into the Frank's as well, and mix that in. Gives it a really good pickled taste and it adds a little bit of heat from the banana peppers. But that's what if you heard me talking to Lindsey about, making what I eat in a day kind of videos, nothing I make, my chaffle recipes are about as, innovative as they get, what I eat on a normal basis. If I'm going to eat anything in the morning, it's like half a pound of ground beef and 3 eggs. And that's basically it, with some salt and some coffee. So, again, that's pretty boring. Tonight, for example, before the live stream, I had, again, some ground beef, and then I mixed in 6 eggs, cooked it under the broiler in a pan till it was done, and then I pulled it out, added some cheese, put it back in until the cheese was melted, and then it's like it's a 1 plate, 1 pan frittata. And that, along with the serving of kimchi, that's what I had for supper. So again, it's always fairly straightforward. So you got Coastal Water in the house. Good to see you. I gotta keep seeing your live streams in the morning, and I'm always so busy in the morning. One of these days I'll be able to join you for one of your live streams in the morning. What's Joe saying? The only place I know of Frank's Dill hot sauce is Sam's Club. I don't have a membership to Sam's anymore. So yeah, I checked a few places when we were in the States and didn't find it anywhere. So yeah, it's like I say, but I figure it's dill pickle Frank's hot sauce. So I just take Frank's hot sauce and I put dill pickle juice in it. Pretty much works for me, I guess. What I eat in a day is far more interesting to the viewer than the creator, but people want to know. I have several conversations about what he ate. Yeah. And again, I guess that's the way I have to look at it. And, I apologize if as a viewer, if that's stuff that it would be interesting to you, then by all means, I'll try and focus on a day, probably on a weekend day where there's a little bit more variety. Because I guess I have to be more in the mindset that what I'm putting out there in that kind of video would be for anyone that may even just be starting the keto diet or ketovore or carnivore or whatever, what have you, right? So yeah, again, so that's good advice, Kevin. At the end of the day, it's probably not, it's not a super intense kind of content to make. So, maybe I'll try and get that done for you guys the next couple of weeks, kind of thing. Everyone's saying hi. Next Friday, having a lot car confession from 4:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Traveling from North Carolina to Kentucky. Well, that'd be interesting. Next Friday. Yeah, well, I'll see if I can join a little bit of time in the morning. Usually have a little bit of time that I can jump on, especially if you're already on there when I get up, kind of thing. So I'll keep that in mind. But that sounds like an interesting live stream for sure. Okay, so that should be having a long car confession. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that sounds like fun. It's I keep thinking that I should be doing more live streams on the channel here, but at this point, I think it's a little bit better to try and be consistent for one day a week at first here, get it good and established, so everyone knows that I'm going to be here 7:30 p.m. Eastern on every Thursday night. And then down the road, if we find that we can have good conversations for another hour sometime during the week, then maybe we'll do that as well. So bowing out premiere in 1 minute. Cool. I'll like I say, I'll definitely try and stop by your live stream when we're done here. So Ruby saying hello. So okay, so we're at 8:30. Again, if you missed the beginning of the live stream, would appreciate if you could rewatch the beginning with Lindsey and her keto journey story. It's she has a great story, and I just want to get that information out to as many people as possible. Just try and keep changing lives with these stories on YouTube. So we will end things off there for tonight, unless anyone else has any questions for now. Again, we'll be back next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern with another keto Q&A. Unless I get a hold of someone else that wants to come up on the live stream. There's, again, if anyone ever wants to come up and discuss this kind of stuff, or even if you just want to come up and hang out, you can reach me at my email address, just jasonketo@gmail.com. I'm always happy to bring on guests, and again, it doesn't have to be about lifestyle or keto or anything. If you just want to come up and hang out and talk about life and all that, I'm always happy to help out with that. So okay, well, Pega and Dominic, you have a great night too. We'll see a few of you other Tuber Chat family members probably at the next Tuber Chat live stream, or on your live streams or videos. And then we will see you all back here next week. So that's it for tonight. Keep on thriving, my friends.